Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Rival Recap Show, guys. What is that, week 11 in the books? So you notice I'm not in any sort of studio. I'm in a car right now. And you know what? Everyone's home in my house, and my parents are keeping me so busy today. And, wow, such problems, right? But you know what? I just wanted to record in the car. I'm out getting lunch right now, and I got some time before my food's ready. So we're just going to rip through the matchups. I brought some notes since I obviously don't have my laptop with me. So bear with me if I'm not as accurate as I usually am, because accuracy is key here at the Rival Recap Show. And I got a car pulling in next to me. She's going to think I'm a psychopath, but I do not give a shit, guys. Week 11 Rival Recap Show. We're talking Gentlemen's Club football all day, all the time. And you know what? We're going to start off with, oh my gosh, shocker, my matchup. And you know what there is to talk about? A shitty fucking matchup. I won 86-82. It was trash. I started Cordell Patterson. I didn't check my lineup. I was hanging out with Katie that night. I had some drinks. I had some other stuff, and I was just not even thinking about it. So a little hiatus from the group chat. I'm back in, and you know what? Team's still not that great, but hey, I'll take a win where I can get it. Mike Evans did not get quite as many points as he needed last night. There's some guy in my parking lot that's having a lot of fucking trouble right now. All my wide receivers got about 16 points apiece, which ain't bad, but you know, nothing going from J.D. McKissick. Allen was pretty average. Other side, Sedano, Dak, and Zeke. Pretty shitty, which was awesome. You know, he had Elijah Moore in his bench, 29 points. Evans and Connor did well for him, but that was about it. You know, 86-82, guys. Sedano loses the week, the long 20. He had .32, I think, less than Jones. And guys, I was honestly so hopeful he was going to get that .32, but also still not beat me, because then Jones would have been the first person this year to have the long 20 and lose the long 20. So it would have been a net zero as far as I know. But you know what? Sedano's going to pay Ian, and these were two of the lowest scores in the week, so I think that's pretty funny. But anyway, next matchup is Ian. You know, 82 points, 82 and change, 82.46, I think it was. Ortiz is 111. 111's all right. Ortiz off the trade, feeling pretty good. He's won 2 games in a row now. I mean, not that the guys I traded him did anything this week. Gibson and Henry didn't do anything, and Sutton was on bye. But you know what? He had Austin Eckler, who had 41 points. Brandon Ayuk had a nice game. Other side, Jones, I mean, apart from DeAndre Swift, there wasn't much going. He started Huntley off the Ravens after Lamar could not play due to illness. What does that guy have? What is it, Crohn's, IBS? Who knows what's going on with him? Those might just be random speculations, but you know what? A lot of garbage going from Jones's team is what I wrote down. A lot of garbage. But yeah, Ortiz takes a win. He's 4-7. He's in the thick of it, man. He's not out of it. We got a lot of guys in the thick of it this year, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out, fellas. That's also another term, really interesting to see how it plays out. I feel like I say that a lot. But as you notice, you know, I don't have the long hair to fuck with anymore, so we're going to probably just say guys a lot, and interesting to see how it plays out. So cringe if you must. But next matchup, it's Olsen, it's Weston. This is a former championship rematch, guys. Weston takes it 122-114. Hurts My Feelings was carried by none other than Hurts and Feelings this game. Unbelievable stuff. He started both Kansas City running backs. Not a lot going. I think Clyde did all right, but nothing from Darrell Williams. Zeke was definitely banged up, so maybe Tony Pollard can be Weston's RB2 going forward. We'll see. We shall see there. Another lady pulling next to me, gonna think I'm a psychopath. Other side, Derek Carr, pretty trash, carried by Zach Ertz. You know, Zach Ertz was really the only one that was doing anything. Had he started Devontae Freeman over Montgomery, he would have won, but I understand you just acquired Montgomery via trade. He was a great running back before he got hurt, so I understand you starting him there. But Devontae Freeman put up 20 on his bench. Next matchup, it is John Rass, Spencer Sklar. John Rass, 134 points, man. This guy's got a good team, even though he doesn't really seem to have good running backs. He got, you know, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams doing excellent. You know, he got nothing from Mike Davis or Alex Collins trying to fill in for Chris Carson. I don't know what's going on in Seattle. It's definitely a committee up there right now, and no one's really emerging as the RB1 in Carson's absence. You know, I said Rast hit 134. I have written down the Marullo mark, guys. That's what we're calling this, the Marullo mark, 134. That's his range that he was hitting. You know, no longer. We'll get to Tony in a few matchups, but Rast has an excellent week. Patriots defense on Thursday night, 28 points. Oh my goodness. Sklar, though, Sklar's probably the only guy that's out of it at this point. You know, I saw him this weekend. You know, we were we were having a good time in New York City with Joe and Weston and some of Sklar's friends. And at one point, Weston asked, like, oh, what tight end should I pick up? And he looked at me and Sklar, and we're just like, we are the wrong guys to ask, my friend. We are the wrong two to ask in this league. Couple of clowns, couple of dumpster fires. Not our best looks this year, but hey. Sklar 89, Tannehill average as hell. Carter, I guess, out next week. CD questionable with a concussion. Sucks that he's on short week, so I don't know if he's going to play on Thanksgiving Day or not. Nothing's looking good for Sklar's team. Rest team's looking pretty nice, 134 points. He's in the thick of that playoff hunt. And we move on to the next matchup, and it is Joe versus Charlie. Joe puts up an astounding 170 points to Charlie's 103. Charlie had a nice week out of CMC. Diggs did pretty well. But Uzoma, Renfro, Burrow, even all right, he didn't start Wilson, but Wilson didn't do well either. So hopefully Charlie can get one of those quarterbacks going and get his team back in form, because I still do think Charlie has a strong team. Other side though, Joe, I mean, Justin Herbert, 34 points or something. Jefferson, 37 points. Chubb, 22 points. I mean, he took over first place from Lynch finally. We'll get into Lynch a little later too. His team's pretty broken right now. Did not have a good week, but Joe takes first place. He started Jeff Wilson this week, probably the only thing that didn't go well on his team. And on Saturday, Joe making, you guys know how Joe talks with his snide comments. He's like, I just feel like I'm really seeing everything really well right now. Jeff Wilson. That was why he said that, because of Jeff Wilson. He said his pickups have been really great. But, I mean, I can't really knock him. He had 170 points. I had to take my shot where I could get it with the Jeff Wilson comment, but he's going to have Saquon's back. He had like 11 points last night. Henderson was on bye, so he'll get back in the starting lineup. Jeff Wilson will be no more. And Joe is sitting happily in first place. Joe's got Lynch next week, or this upcoming week. And Joe actually asked me for a stat request if this is the biggest matchup like this late in the season ever. I'll be honest, I told Joe I'd look into it. I didn't look into it. And especially Lynch's team's pretty broken right now. So Joe could definitely solidify first place by beating Lynch next week. And we're going to move on to the next matchup, guys. It's Christian versus Tony. Christian, another guy who hits the Marullo mark against Marullo, 133 to 104. Cousins did great. Cook did great. He had that Vikings little stack. I don't even know if you call it a stack when it's quarterback running back, but I'm going to call it that right now. Reek had a nice week. Almost everyone in a starting lineup had double digits. Christian's got a solid team. I see him next week. Hopefully he's not hitting the Marullo mark. He still hasn't gotten Kyler going since that trade, and he's got Tyreek on bye next week, so I can only hope, right? Other side, Tony, though. Keenan and Waddle were the two highlights. I think they both had about 20 points. Ingram had like 15, but he left the game. They're optimistic he'll be all right, but we'll see what happens there. Ty Johnson, 2 points or some shit for the Jets. That sucks, Tony. It's nothing like Kareem Hunt and Derrick Henry like you had in the beginning of the season, but I think Kareem Hunt's back this upcoming week. Stefanski seemed optimistic, or he's hopeful at least. See what happens there. And these are two guys that are also in the thing. Christian's 5-6, I think, and Tony's 6-5. Oh my gosh, we'll get into it at the end of the standings. It's crazy. But the next matchup, Kevin Lamb, my goodness, another monster team against Lynch. So it was 156 to 85. We'll talk about Lynch's team first. He goes from Kamara and Aaron Jones to Naheem Hines and A.J. Dillon, while those two guys are banged up. Cooper's probably out another 2 weeks. Lynch's team's got holes. He's got to get these guys back for the playoffs. I do not want to see the Lynch's team collapse, because he's had such a good season so far, and I love that there's some newer names at the top. Us bottom whore guys. I had to text Lynch on Saturday because I was a little hammered, but I forgot what whore stood for. Historic owner ranking, boys. Historic owner ranking. I will say, the guys I was sitting at the table with couldn't remember either. Maybe too many espresso martinis. But Lynch, yeah, I mean, Brian Edwards, 0 points. Lynch is still rocking the two tight ends, Andrews and Schultz, and they had good weeks, but wasn't enough to match it. Kevin Lamb's 156. I mean, Jonathan Taylor had, 53 points. Mixon had a nice week. Kevin Lamb, though, is the quarterback graveyard over? Is it done? Is he finally find his guy in Cam Newton? 25 points. He looked good, man. Cam was having fun out there. The fans in Carolina were loving it. It was great stuff. Kevin Lamb got 0 out of his tight end this week, but Gronk was back and had 13 points on his bench, so maybe Gronk slides back in the starting lineup and he can be his tight end going forward again. And then Lamb's team really doesn't have any holes. It's pretty scary. He had Cooper Kupp on bye this week and he still put up 156 points, guys. But that's the matchups. I got through them a little quicker this week. I got to go pick up this lunch, but something I wanted to touch on about the standings, guys. We have 2 6-5 teams, 4 5-6, and 3 4-7 teams. There are 9 teams vying for those last 3 places. the top five, you know, they all have strong teams. They're all looking pretty good up there. But that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, everyone's in it except, I'm sorry, Sklar, you are not. I do not believe 5 and 9, even if you're on the table, will even get you close to the playoffs. So that's the matchups. I hope you guys have a great week, and we're going to send it over to those guys over at Safe Space. Don't really know too much about them, but thanks. Have a great day. Great Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you and your family. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. And hey, it's Brian. Wow, amazing. And we're here with Safe Space. And I'm not down and out, guys. I'm still here. I'm still in the group. I'm still going to provide an excellent fantasy season. Probably going to win the championship.
This is horrible. Shut the fuck up, Joe. He's in his fucking artistic space.
He's in his group, though, Joe. He's an artistic master.
Can you imagine if everyone was here telling you
You're horrible?
I'm not horrible.
That's fucked.
Absolutely fucked, Joe. Noir type environment, and like it looks really good.
My name's Joe. Best team, worst team. It's got to be best team. Joe got the most votes. Worst team, Marsh.
Thank you, Marsh. You little fucking rascal, you. Yeah, this weekend I saw Marsh, obviously. I've never seen more like genuine hate in someone's soul than when Marsh looked me directly in the fucking eyes this weekend after a couple drinks and goes to me, Joe, I hope you never fucking win the championship. Yikes, Marsh, yikes. But on that note, gentlemen, welcome back to Safe Space. My intention was to film before the Giants game started, but I had a work call that was supposed to end at 7:30. It ended at 8:30. It's halftime right now. I feel like a wave of anger is going to come on. The Giants are only down 7, but it feels like they should be like down 3 touchdowns right now. So we'll see. Maybe there'll be a second half miracle. Can I also say this before we get into the segments? The Monday Night Football ESPN crew is fucking horrible. Like the McDonough and Booger thing a few years ago was fucking horrible, and they upgraded it to, or downgraded it to even more fucking horrible. Steve Levy was calling fucking Chris Goodwin all fucking half. Fucking Brian Greasy is actually a fucking moron. And fucking Louis Riddick is afraid to say anything because he's gonna put his fucking name in the hats of GM jobs this fucking offseason. Horrible. I'm bottling up the anger, pushing it down until after the game. Let's get to the segments. Best team, worst team. Best team, Kevin Lamb. Cooper Kupp on a bye this week? No fucking problem. Jonathan Taylor, 53.4 points. I looked this up. That was the highest individual point score of the season, not of all time. I mean, it makes sense that Kevin's the best team. I mean, I'm pretty sure he scored the most points this week, and he probably bumped up to first place. Someone want to check me on that? But pretty sure we'll be worthy of the best team. Kevin has Taylor, who's fucking unreal. Mixon has been low-key really, really solid this year after the last couple of years he's gotten hurt. Is Cam Kevin's solution at fucking quarterback? If so, the league is in trouble. He also got fucking 0 from Dan Arnold and 3.9 from Kenyon Drake and 2 from his defense and still put up 156. Scary. Worst team, Spencer Sklar. I'm not going to waste a ton on this. Spencer is 2-9 now, I believe. Did he lose this week? He did lose this week. 2-9. Marsh, maybe you could fill us in on what is the worst regular season record of all time and whether or not Sklar is approaching it. Otherwise, not much notable to talk about Sklar's team, and it's only going to get worse with CeeDee Lamb out and Michael Carter out. Yikes. Segments. Fun fact, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. During Thanksgiving, we give thanks. Safe space poll, pretty simple this week. What in this fantasy season have you been thankful for? I'm thankful that Marsh hasn't killed himself yet. I took the over on 12.5 weeks, and while I definitely don't need the cash, cocky, it's always satisfying when your bet hits. Hang in there, buddy, 2 more weeks. Yeah, Marsh, if you kill yourself week 15, who the fuck cares? Horrible. Thankful for Jalen Hurts and all my fellow Gentlemen's Club members, including Carol. Thankful for Alex Guerrero providing the Bucks with fake vaccine cards. That definitely happened. Thankful for the Rival Recap Show and Safe Space being at the best I've ever seen them. What? Thank you. I feel like we've been hitting a good stride this year. Fuck you, Sedano. Thankful for competitive and roller coaster of a season. Always entertaining. Not sure I get this one. My season has not really been competitive because I fucking win every week. Everyone hates me. Thankful that I finally decided not to draft a Jet this year. Guess who wrote this one? Usually I do have pride and it hurts me every year. Watching a Jets has been horrible, so it's much easier when it doesn't also affect your fantasy team. Or you could use your first round draft pick on the often injured running back of your favorite team, so when that fucking favorite team sucks, you even feel worse about yourself. Oh, they're gonna fucking get blown out in the second half. I'm thankful for the existence of Marsh, who lit a fire under my ass with his predictions, trades me as good player for my bad ones, and takes shit talk like a champ. On this last point, I was obviously just talking a bunch of shit to Marsh this weekend, and at one point he was just he literally said, I'm gonna sit here, fucking take it, bottle it up for a later point. Marsh is gonna fucking explode one day on me. I'm thankful for the league in general. Lovely. Nothing this season which shouldn't come as a surprise between my team and the Jets. That was from Spencer. His team and the Jets both suck. I'm thankful that the league doesn't have to deal with SF Joe. In parentheses, yes, Joe can be even worse than he is now. This is from Ian. No idea what this fucking means, bud. Ian came to visit me in San Francisco before I moved in March. Called it a top 3 weekend of his fucking life. I opened up the doors to him, showed him everything in the city. The kid couldn't fucking wipe the smile off of his face. What is SF Joe, Ian? Is it worse? Fucking moron, you. I would compare fucking Baltimore Ian to fucking New York City Ian, but New York City chewed you up and spit you out in 2 months that there's not even a comparison to be had. Fucking Ian. Moron. I'm thankful for fantasy football bringing the boys together every year. On Delta and Darts, I'm thankful for my players, but Austin Eckler has been a blessing. He won me weeks and was a steal at the draft. Can your first round draft pick be a steal? Eckler went, 7 or 8? I mean, I'll probably go top 3 next year, so I'll give you that comment. Last one. I am thankful for Deebo Samuel. Oh, Lynch, you're thankful for Deebo Samuel. No fucking shit. It's like a fucking rich girl saying, oh, I'm thankful for daddy's fucking trust. Lynch. Maybe this Giants first half made me a little bit more angry than I expected. Second segment. I just rewatched that last video. What a douchey move it was for me to take a big sip of alcohol before I started. What am I, a fucking freshman in college, you loser, Narduli? What were the worst moves of all time in the Gentlemen's Club because the kid who apparently talks Gentlemen's Club football all day, all the time, started someone who wasn't even fucking playing. Rast, trading A.J. Brown for J.K. Dobbins, holla at me, and then dropping J.K. Dobbins, only for Eric to pick him up and use him to beat Rast and send Rast into the toilet bowl. That was a convoluted one that had multiple intricacies. I'm not sure if I used any of those words correctly, Lynch, so go ahead and fuck. I can't even fuck. Christian, pretty sure prior to this season, Christian held the record for lowest score in a week because he played people on a bye and a few inactives. Reason was he was on full focus, dedicated to rallying the alley. So in my opinion, I'm vindicated. Marsh did bring this up, I believe, like last year. He was like talking about lowest points of all time. Question on Christian's vindication. Rallying the alley is on a Saturday and football's on a Sunday. Weston started an injured kicker in his first ever matchup and lost to Borelli by 0.5 points. Sometimes it takes you to have a heartbreak to really suck you into fantasy football. Tony picking Gurley 4th overall after having about 15 drinks / blinkies. Tony made the playoffs that year. Pavic picking Joe in the playoffs. He would have won the league if he picked Marsh. Yeah, so Marsh was telling me about this weekend. The first time we ever did playoff picks, Pavic somehow was the first seed. Picked my team, which was like incredibly hot at the time. I upset him. But if you would have picked Marsh, who was the obvious choice, Marsh ran the numbers and Pavic had the most points scored the second 2 weeks of the playoffs, so would have won the championship. Imagine if fucking Pavic won our league. Thank God. Sliding doors moment. Lynch, the only moves that comes to mind to him are his own bad moves. And I tend to think about bad drafting when I think about my mistakes in the league. That said, I've drafted badly so many times that I could have had 2 toilet bowls by now if it weren't for above average midseason management. I legit didn't draft a good player at Kevin's Cape Cod house. I've drafted Eddie Lacy like 3 times. The list goes on, but I've blocked it out. The second half is starting now. Rash dropping Allen Robinson and J.K. Dobbins last year. Yeah, Rast. Rast's team might make the playoffs, so Tony, 5-yard gain. Get the ball into fucking... I hate Jason Garrett. Sorry, focus. Marsh drafting, 2 people did this. Marsh drafting Darren McFadden, our first year of playing fantasy. This was actually my first, I'd never met Marsh before our senior year draft. My first impression was him at drafting Darren McFadden. And I'm pretty sure Marsh's first impression of me was also negative. So Marsh, as much as we still don't like you, well, I like you, you just don't like me, I feel like it's fair to say that our relationship has come a long way. Jones taking Kenyon Drake in round 1 last year, still won the championship, but everyone did call that out as a horrible pick at the time, and it was. Last one, Ortiz trade with... Okay, so this is a follow-up from last week. This comes from Ortiz. Ortiz said he had a trade with Sedano a few seasons back that scarred him for a long, long time. Gave up Hopkins in his breakout year for Ertz and some other garbage after he lost David Johnson, who was the first overall pick, minutes into week 1. Turned me into what the league calls the worst player to trade with. Yes. So my suspicion from last week was correct. We ruined James Ortiz, and he is a PTSD victim of trade rate. Safe space submissions. Giants 4th and 1 on like the Bucks 26. First drive after halftime. Going for it. Oh. Give it a fucking Saquon. Why are you... Fuck! have to wrap this up quickly. Safe space submissions. Ortiz, best of luck. I think your team has faced an unfortunate schedule this year and look forward to a matchup. P.S. Season is running out of time and thought we're expecting a big announcement from you. Lamar Jackson would be much cooler if he admitted he shits his pants. I agree with this. I always have the poops. Like, I poop like 3-4 times before lunch every day. So it would be nice to have somebody in the public sphere admit that they also always have the poops. Can't wait to see how Tony Marullo reacts when he misses the playoffs. I did call this last week as Tony got a little cocky with safe space submissions and blew that game. Tony lost again this week. So he went from 6-3 to now 6-5. The wheels are coming off of that wagon. I'm rooting for him to sneak in, but he's got to survive the next 3 weeks. As I write this, I am in the middle of a sweaty matchup with Olsen. This is from Weston. Does anyone remember the last time I was in a sweaty matchup with Olsen? Hint, Jamal Williams was playing. Yes, Weston is referring to when he beat Eric in the championship 4 seasons ago. Borelli, CB. It's time the tides turn for the Clowns and we pull some upset on the route to the ship. Good luck, son. I mean, maybe Marsh maybe on the route to the playoffs or like a win. The ship seems ambitious where you're at. Weston from Sklar. Liz says hi. Sklar got a number off of Weston's good looks this weekend, which is Weston was wearing an Arsenal jersey. Weston, if you're watching this with our people around, completely denied the girl. He has a girlfriend for 9 years, he says. And for the record, Marsh also denied her. And I told her I was a YouTuber. And then Sklar got a number. Tony asked me to sing this if I could sing this like a song, it would be great. The roof is falling down, and it was fun while it lasted, but it's time to meet your end. Lynch, we'll see if my team can get out of the morgue. I play Lynch next week. Big matchup. A wholesome note. Actually, we'll save that one for last. What a win for the Birds. Anyone thinks Calvin Ridley is playing again this year? Would you want to play for the Falcons? Last one. On a wholesome note, I'm thankful for the Gentlemen's Club League. The year just isn't the same when football is dormant. A lovely positive note to end on this. I'm thankful for you all. And now I'm going to get very upset watching the rest of the Giants game. Have a great Thanksgiving. Godspeed.